How do I get rid of my anxiety? That's a common concern amongst Christians today. For so many Christians today are worried. They're worried about so many things. They're worried about their health. They're worried about their family. They're worried about the economy. They're worried about world events, in spite of the fact that Jesus tells us not to worry. We read in Matthew 6:25, "Therefore I say to you, do not worry." Along these lines, the Apostle Paul wrote in Philippians 4:6 and 7, "Be anxious for nothing. Don't worry about anything." So many believers today are worried in spite of the fact that the constant refrain of the Word of God is not to worry. And yet, even though so many are worried, so many Christians are worried, there is an antidote for worry, and that is an understanding of the sovereignty of God. Now, when we talk about the sovereignty of God, what are we talking about? We're talking about the fact that God is in control of all things, which He indeed is. He's in control of the elements of nature. We read in Nahum 1:3, "The Lord has His way in the whirlwind," or the tornado, "and the clouds are the dust of His feet." He is in control over the governments of the earth. We read in Proverbs 21:1, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Like the rivers of water, He turneth it whithersoever it goeth." He's in control of even the minute details of life. We read in Proverbs 16:33, "The lot is cast into the lap, but the disposing thereof is of the Lord." Somebody has translated or paraphrased that. "Men roll the dice, but God makes the spots come up." God is in control of everything without exception. We read in Daniel 4:35, "And all the inhabitants of the earth are reputed as nothing, and He doeth according to His will in the army of heaven and among the inhabitants of the earth, and none can stay His hand or say unto Him, What doest thou?" Now, getting right down to where the rubber meets the road, that means, believer, that God is in control of every detail of your life. Nothing can enter into your experience unless God gives the okay. Not only that, but the Bible makes it clear that everything that enters into your life, into your experience, is not just for God's glory, but for your good. That's the truth of that great verse found in Romans 8:28. "And we know that all things work together for good for those that love God, for those who are the called according to His purpose." So if you're worrying today, reflect upon the sovereignty of God. That will solve your problem. The sovereignty of God is the softest pillow a believer in Jesus Christ can lay their head down on at night. That's even better than Mike Lindell's My Pillow. Do not worry. Reflect upon the sovereignty of God. I was talking to an individual the other day who was dying, and he said to me, "But I know who is in control." And that reality, the truth of that reality, is giving this dying individual, this dying Christian brother, peace in the midst of the storm. You yourself can have peace in the midst of the greatest storm that you ever go through in your life, knowing that this was planned in the councils of eternity for your benefit. Again, not just for God's glory, but for your good.